and welcome to a brand new 5 Heart Podcast live on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, X. I'm your host, Greg Mahashko, joined as always by my good co-host, better friend, Minnie Hunt. How are you doing tonight, Minnie?
I'm great.
Got
eve before Illinois.
There's a certain energy in the air, but this far downstate in Illinois, nobody cares. So there's an energy; it's palpable in my house.
Oh my gosh, you are living in Illinois. That's right.
Yeah, and I try to go.
Have you ever been an Illinois fan?
No. No. My obligatory servitude when I was younger, before I moved to Nebraska, was like Illinois basketball, maybe mainly for like bragging rights. Illinois basketball, usually it's the week before Christmas. Illinois and Missouri always play. They always play in St. Louis. Sometimes it would be at the Dome, when both teams were on fire and they could get 60, 70, maybe not 70, but 50 to 60,000 people in the Dome where the Rams used to play. I don't want to say it's wound down, but I think now they just play it at Enterprise Center, which is where the Blues play. I may be wrong in that. I don't know. I don't follow it that closely because I'm a Nebraska fan. So no, I've never cared about the Illini football team.
So, how far are you from Champaign?
Oh, great question. I'm so glad you asked. I should know that because I was just there a year ago for last year's Friday night Nebraska game, Nebraska-Illinois game. Let's see, Memorial Stadium, Champaign, 145 miles, 2 hours, 45 minutes.
That's close.
I said 181 miles. So.
Oh, okay. Do you like walk into a gas station and see like posters up for Illinois? No. Nothing like that.
Not like I said, down here, it really is such a Cardinals Blues area out of St. Louis because I like to say I grew up in under the arches of or under the shadow of the Gateway Arch on the Illinois side. But if you go into like Walmart, you'll see Blues, Cardinals, the XFL Battlehawks, and you might see one or two measly racks of Illinois stuff. But down here, where they just don't give a rip. I'm not gonna say there are no fans because I know of a few. I work with a few, but it's not like it doesn't permeate the state like Nebraska football does. If that's probably the easiest way that I can say. Think about this: when I was on the very farther northwest corner of Nebraska in Chadron, there was enough energy and excitement there that helped me be a Nebraska fan, and that was from it's probably an 8.5 hour drive. Whereas even I live now in the city that I was born, Belleville, just a couple hours away. Nobody cares. Which is why it was so easy, honestly, for me to become a Husker fan because I had no allegiance. So,
well, that's good. Hey, just to start off the show, Aaron Rostovsky's here, and he wants to know: you guys wear pants for the show?
No. Am I supposed to?
Really, Greg? Oh my
shorts.
gosh! I think he wasn't talking to us. I think he was talking to the chat.
Oh, okay. I was like, I look, I could stand up and show you all my shapely legs, but I'm not going to. One of the twins got me on the way up the stairs to bedtime tonight and bit me on the side of my leg and broke the skin and drew blood. A little punk. So. That elicited a shout from dear old dad. I'm gonna say this: shout out to Pit Snipe Husker Pit Pants, which I believe. No, I'm thinking Pit Pat. I'm not thinking Pit Pants. Pit Pat. Yeah, you familiar with Pit Pat?
No, I'm not familiar with Pit Pat or Pit Pants.
So, Pit Pat is a I'm not going to do it justice. In the 1990s, on HBO, there was a sketch comedy show called Mr. Show with Bob and David. Bob Odenkirk, David Cross, and it was, I don't know. It probably, I think, doesn't hold up quite as well as, SNL of the time that had, Adam Sandler and David Spade and Chris Farley and that, Chris Rock and that crew. But they had a character, one of their segments on the show, they talked about Pit Pat, which is a, I'm going to see if I can find it exactly. So it was a corporate, non-threatening spokes thing. Anyway, I saw Pit Pants. I harkened back to a younger Greg who watched ridiculous shit like that.
Okay, Greg.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Look at this. This just freaked me out right now.
Pit Snipe Husker remembers.
Volleyball tickets are up to $400.
That's awesome.
Oh my goodness, those girls.
I'm gonna say this right now: supply and demand.
Wow.
We're actually going to. So Paul says volleyball tickets $400. He says plane tickets $480. Watching Stanford get their ass kicked, priceless. I miss those old MasterCard commercials. Those
that does sound priceless.
The 90s were such a better era for commercials. We had these. We had the radio commercials for Budweiser's Real Men of Genius. Those were great. So,
do you remember the Bud with the frog?
Oh yeah. Yeah, tell me that they weren't marketing to children. Come on. I think I was in like 5th or 6th grade when those commercials first dropped, and I was like, Bud, what? Yeah, Rostovsky says, "What's up?" So, all right.
Okay.
Minnie, do you want to start off with some tremendous people who got here early and said hello bright and early? So Aaron Keene said, hope Greg did his pre-stream lunges. We need his A game. That is interesting. Minnie, did you know I have an A game?
Do you have a lunge? That's
Hold on.
more.
All right. Wait. If we do this right, you can see the shorts and the lunge.
Oh, great.
Oh, I'm not gonna do that. Hey, this is free. Y'all got to pay to see me in the shorts doing the lunge. You got to know my worth, right? Isn't that what they say?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. So, no, I didn't do my pre-stream lunges. Did do a couple of pre-stream curls, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty good.
Justin Raja says, "Can you feel let? Can you feel let?" Justin, what are you doing to me right now?
Feel it. I think is what he meant.
Mr. Raji, with all due respect, don't talk to text, all right? Or if you do, proofread. Melissa says, right at 9 o'clock. We actually got this show. This went live right at 9 o'clock Central, God's favorite time zone. Melissa says, here we go. So thank you, Melissa, for being here. And, of course, everybody. Pit Snipe Husker says, Greg, Minnie, Chatterfields, GBR.
Hello. Go Big Red.
Going back, and we're actually going to kick off the show talking volleyball. So I know Paul loves talking volleyball. He's going to be right at home. But he was there. He says, yesterday was as loud as the Devaney has ever been. So
I think that's awesome.
We'll
I'm excited.
Talk more about that. Rick Novak, I believe I'm pronouncing that. Sometimes you get in that Eastern European side, the W's come across as V's. Rick, hope I don't disrespect you. The Illinois fans have started coming out of the woodwork in Chicago. Some excitement this year. And usually Chicago is a very northwestern town. But I believe that when they're 3-0, they're in the top 25. Like, look, we're blessed / cursed. Minnie, let me throw a theory out there, and you tell me if you agree with it. We're blessed / cursed as Nebraska fans because we never shut up. Like you don't.
I think you're right. Yeah.
You don't have to wait for us to have a good season to hear our thoughts on Nebraska football. I think in cases like Illinois, where, yeah, they're in the top 25 again, they started 3-0. They're walking around a little more Conor McGregor, a little more strut and a little more confidence in their walk. So I 100% wholeheartedly believe, Rick, that they are starting to, seep out of the woodwork there in Chicago. Keep fighting the good fight. Let's see. Fred says, one of the twins got me up the stairs and bit my leg. Our former head coach would have paid a lot of money for that action. Oh, God. Fred, those are my children, sir.
My goodness.
All right. And here we go. Are you ready for this one, Minnie?
Yes. What is it?
Read that one.
Give the people some lunges for $1.99.
That's a very cheap lunch, sir. That's a very cheap lunch. All right, hold on.
It's making it rain. Come on, here we go.
I won't be able to hear you, Minnie, so you're going to have to do play-by-play on this atrocity that's about to take place.
Lord.
So,
guys.
Can I move my chair back?
Here we go.
There's no good camera angle that's about to come from this, because when I stand up, the camera. All right.
Oh my gosh! Here we go. He's really going to do this.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, shorts.
Oh my gosh! I don't want to look.
Move the chair out of the way a little bit. Stretch. All right, here we go.
This is incredible, guys. I don't think he's done this in years. I know he hasn't.
And
oh my gosh! Now he's
one for the win this weekend. 4 lunges. I probably didn't even do them right. All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Greg. That was great.
Did that come across as well as I'd hoped?
Oh yeah.
She's so happy. There you go, people. By the way, we're going to address this more in the housekeeping section, but if you're just catching the audio version of the 5-Heart podcast, you are missing out.
Absolutely. As Fred Sacco puts it, oh no, Greg's about to tear his poised, moist ground. And I said all the words. It was worth it. You did lunges. I mean, wow.
I couldn't tell the last time I did lunges. Yeah,
somehow I knew that. I don't know. I think we all knew that, though, Greg.
Yeah, they were not ideal looking. Michael, right up there, says a groin injury waiting to happen. So, but BFOTS Josh Hansen is not really able to join us tonight. He's driving back late tonight. He had a district region whatever meeting, so he's driving back home. But he wants to say GBR 3517. We'll get to that later. So, yeah, Fred, I'll tell you what, that right there, that's the gift that kept on giving. When we got Minnie to say, whoa, that's right. Living in Omaha. By the way, where are we at on tonight's show? That the first time we hit a David Matney comment, living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the 5-Heart podcast, says Minnie's being corrupted. She said groin.
Okay. It's you have to put it in context. When we're talking about football players, injuries there, I just rather not say it.
Wait, time out. I'm not even sure I can ask that question.
What's wrong with that? No. Okay, good.
I think that would be the time where you would feel comfortable saying if you're talking about an injury.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
The reason why is because a lot of guys think that the reason why girls watch football is for the eye candy. And that's not it.
I don't know. You keep putting that picture up of Jamal Banks.
I know. That doesn't help. Oh my goodness gracious.
Fred says Minnie's in cold shoulder mode. She's too glam to give a damn.
Yeah.
That would be a nice shirt over at copycorn.com. She's too glam to give a damn. Or just too glam to give a damn. There we go.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. And you know what? I'm going to keep that one starred, Fred, just so that we can refer to it later. Aaron, regarding the $1.99, he says it was the default price, so I went with it. Luckily, it wasn't $100.
Any amount of money gets Greg to do things. This is what we've learned tonight.
Wait a minute. I'm not comfortable with how you phrased that.
That's what we learned.
Okay. Yeah. It's Knife Husker said $2 for Greg Lunge's inflation. Thank you. All right. And why is there a fuchsia thing behind you, Minnie?
No, I changed the tone. It's actually red. It may look fuchsia. This right here is a red light, and I have a red bar here because somebody from the chat suggested I put a light over there as well.
Looks kind of fuchsia to me. I don't know.
I mean, come on.
This looks red. This looks red.
It actually does. It definitely doesn't match the red end, though. Two different shades.
Rustic.
Behind you. Mm-hmm.
Raji says, Greg, congratulations on having a color setting right. Your shirt looks red tonight. Thank you, Justin. Let's see here. Only Greg. That's true. Minnie says Greg has a type 2 game. Yeah, thank you. Talk to your doctor about diabetes.
You just get it from all angles here.
It's perfectly fine. Honestly, I love it. The more the better. Let us kick this show off, about 17 and a half minutes in, talking about what is we said we were going to kick the show off with this, and we're not lying. But yes, Nebraska, the number 5 team in the country, swept the number 2 Stanford Cardinals last night at the Devaney. You heard Paul, loudest that he recalls it ever being. And if you take away the little run that Stanford had in the second set when they went on an 8-0 run, it was an ass whooping, Minnie.
It was exhilarating. I mean, even Beth didn't predict that they were gonna do that well.
No, she said Huskers in 5. Mm-hmm. And she made the long drive from western Nebraska, in a community that I'm not legally allowed to disclose. She said, "Well, I'm glad for the outcome, but really was hoping for more volleyball." No, it was tremendous out. I didn't get a chance to turn it on until probably when Nebraska was close. I mean, it was the third set. I think they were already had 16, 17 points and well in hand. And they just I'm not the volleyball expert, so apologies to the people who are here. They're like, we want that precise expert volleyball talk. All I can say is this: Nebraska played about as well-rounded of a match as you could last night. And Stanford was 3-0 at the Devaney heading into last night. So just the fact that not only did they win, but they won in such a dominant way that, I mean, Minnie, give the scores of the match or of the sets last night.
First one was 25-17, second one was 25-22, and third one was 25-14. I mean, they killed it. I was so impressed with these girls and just happy for them. They work so hard. It's so nice to see this coming to fruition for them after last year.
Joe Lileka says the passing out the red cowboy hat promo is 2-0. They will have a win against Wisconsin and a win against Stanford. By the way, passing out those red cowboy hats and I think shirts and things like that that's to the student section, but that was a tremendous giveaway. That's fantastic.
I love that. Do you own any cowboy hats, Greg?
No,
No?
I do not.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry. I told my wife years ago, we used to have, I don't want to say like a country barber, like, it was a place called Wild Country, but you go and do like line dancing and things like that. And I told my honey, I'll go with you to this place, but if I go, I'm going to get real cowboyed up. Like I'm going to have to go get a hat, get some cowboy boots, and I'm going to look the part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Never really. I don't know if that idea of me out there in a cowboy hat and boots scared her away. She's like, or she just knows I can't dance. Who knows?
So you like to get into character as well.
No, I said if I'm going to go to a place like that, I'm gonna. Are you gonna
start talking with the? Are you gonna start talking with the draw too?
A drawl? You want me to talk with Southern drawl? I'll do that.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We're gonna have us a good old time on this here little internet show tonight. We've got some more volleyball to talk about, and we'll get some football. Take a lot of your questions as we go. Got some predictions, and let me tell you what's going to happen at the very end of the show. We're going to have what I believe to be, and I've been doing the show a very long time, ladies and gentlemen. We're all going to have the most wholesome moment in 5 Heart podcast history. Don't break my heart, my achy, breaky 5 heart. I just don't think you'd understand. Because if you break my heart, my achy, breaky heart, I don't know any more words on my man.
And he did that for free.
That's right.
We didn't have to pay him.
Raji says if we beat Ohio State, Minnie and Greg perform a square dance in red cowboy hats.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know about red cowboy hats, but I know red solo cup.
That's a good one.
Fill you up. It's not even. Here's the thing. I don't care for that song. I'm kind of a Toby Keith fan. I was kind of sad to hear when he passed earlier this year. He has a lot of great songs. Red Solo Cup's not one of them.
Yeah, I think he just wrote that one on the bus or something.
He's like, I know how to make money.
Night.
Fred says Greg became Boss Hog in real time, and I'm so sorry I may have cost this.
Ban me. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Well, did you talk about the stats for the girls last night, Greg?
No, because you were here the whole time, and I'll do that. Do you want me to do that in my country voice or my regular voice?
Well, since you don't have a red cowboy hat, can you do it in your country voice?
Yeah, but I got to stop looking at Fred's comments. All right. So, Minnie, thank you so much. You so kind to give us the scores from last night. But let's take a look at some of those statistics. So, Nebraska finished with a .263 hitting percentage while holding Stanford to just .100. That means that Stanford was only connecting successfully on 1/10 of their shots, of their hits. For Nebraska, you had Andy Jackson with 9 kills and a .600 hitting percentage on 5 blocks. I tell you, we got some well-rounded athletes here at Nebraska Volleyball. Lindsey Krause had 9 kills, including the match point, and you have Merritt Beeson, 8 kills, Harper Murray, 6 kills, and everyone was contributing. I know Coach John Cook was very proud of the team afterwards. When you read over on cornnation.com, if you got on there late last night and you read Beth's write-up, she was just glowing praise for all of them young ladies there last night at the old volleyball match. And I know that Coach was wanting some more offensive production from Ms. Bergen, and I think he's pretty pleased with the way she contributed in the match last night.
Okay, Greg, you can. I have to show this. Greg sounds like he's about to go out and rustle up himself a couple of them Duke boys. Do you know what the Duke boys are?
Dukes of Hazzard. Come on now, Bo and Luke. Come on.
Yes.
Uncle Jesse. You got to.
Oh my gosh. What have we started? It's too good. I love it.
It's a good time. I don't disagree. Aaron Drury says the Texas accent should be illegal in Nebraska. They ruined our old conference, but guess what? They're going to ruin another one too. I'll tell you what. And here's the thing: I'm not going for a Texas accent per se. I just don't know. You know, when I get all Southern, I just don't know which. It's all South to me. Okay, so let's go.
There's a big difference in Southern accents. There's the Louisiana accent. There's
that Cajun accent. I'll tell you what. That's a crazy one right there.
That one. Then they also have the South Carolina, the honey accent. Everything sounds so sweet.
But
then
Kaylee Bartle sounds a little bit Savannah to me. So if I remember correctly from The Office, did you watch The Office, Minnie? Savannah, it's got to roll off like molasses.
You cannot kick this. Now that we started, you're just like you're in another country or something.
Well, it is Texas. It's kind of its own place. So. Yeah, y'all getting a little bit. You're getting a little bit extra, Greg, tonight. You got the lunges and the leg hair, and now you get draw. Tallahassee white trash. You know what? I've been called worse. It's okay. All right. Well,
I don't. Does Illinois have an accent?
No,
they don't.
We don't. No, I mean Chicago, like deep in the city of Chicago, they might have their own thing, but. No, Illinois is not.
It's just okay. Just Midwestern.
Aaron Keene says, remember that time we were going to talk about volleyball? Pepperidge Farm remembers. And Andy, I actually take this one personally. Shadron Hick accent. Now listen, I only lived out there a couple of years.
Come on, Andy.
See, Rostovsky says Illinois doesn't, Chicago does.
Oh.
And Fred says Illinois accent is mediocrity.
Okay.
I'm hoping he's talking about their football and not about me.
I think maybe it's both.
That's fine. Like I said, I can take it. All right. No. We were going to talk. I think look, I don't know if Beth's home yet. I can't really send her the link to join us on the show. She'll come on our show again or with John down the road. There's a lot more volleyball to discuss, a lot more volleyball to play and watch and enjoy as Nebraska fans. At the end of the day, I think one of the comments that I saw last night said it best. We did to Stanford what SMU did to us a few weeks ago. Probably was a bit of a wake-up call for Stanford, if I'm not being honest, or if I'm being honest. If we face them down the road in postseason play, I would expect something very different. But you're right. I saw this in the comments. They play again on Sunday. They're on the road at Louisville, and that's going to be Louisville's another top 5 team. I think they're 3 or 4. That's going to be a tough one. And Danny Busboom, who's the head coach and a former Nebraska standout herself, we have a very strong coaching staff, and we will continue to have a very strong coach. The great thing about John Cook is the coaching tree that he's a lot of people, when they talk about football, they talk about the Bill Parcells coaching tree, or what kind of became the Bill Belichick coaching tree, who was an assistant under Bill Parcells years back. That's John Cook to college volleyball. He has created I hate using the word culture, but you look at Jordan Larson, who's come back to Nebraska and will likely, I don't know. I don't want to speak for her. I don't know her plans, but it seemed like she's going to be, heir apparent to, when John Cook steps down and retires, that, but Danny Busboom is another great coach out there who may, depending, I don't know how it all shake out. Nebraska would be very fortunate to have either of those women as the next head coach of the volleyball squad. So things are looking great in Lincoln, but it's going to be tough on Sunday in Louisville too.
Yeah, it is, Greg. That's a great point. I think this is such a great year for volleyball. I mean, last year was fantastic, but I was talking to Beth after the show on Monday night, and I was kind of like pushing her a little bit to just maybe do a show during the volleyball season, when she has time because she has 4 kids. But
Right.
I thought that she gets other people excited because she brings up so many good points.
Paul, I agree. I think that if Danny would, come back, and I think she's married. I don't think Bus Boom's her, actual legal name anymore, but I think she would be a terrific candidate for the next head coach when John Cook retires. But we don't know. And you're right. We're 100% right about Beth. Beth is, and I've said this about Beth, I've said this about Dylan, who writes for Wrestling for Corn Nation, is these, they're not the, I apologize, they're not the sexy sports, right? It's not football and basketball. But Beth,
volleyball is it?
I'm thinking in Nebraska it is, but Beth covers Nebraska volleyball better than the traditional media. Beth is, I've gone on record, I'll say it again. Beth is the best volleyball writer in the state of Nebraska.
Yeah, you say that all the time, and you're right. But she also is a great spokesperson. I feel like she gets people excited and teaches us quite a bit about the sport.
100%. She's a terrific ambassador for it. So,
yeah, love to have her.
And
Justin Raji, he said that they were only going to go 4 matches total the other night, and Beth goes, I think it's going to go 5. Well, Justin, insider tip.
In Price is Right rules, they both lose because they both will.
Yeah, but he's closer. He's closer.
Justin says, I'd love for Beth to do a weekly recap volleyball video. Doesn't even need to be live if she can't. I'll talk to her.
True. Yeah, that would be good. That would be really good.
Paul says that Beth not only played D1 volleyball, she coached D1 volleyball as well. Yeah. Now she's coaching much, much younger levels and grades, but that type of energy, that type of knowledge is infectious. So the kids that she gets to coach right now, they are better for it. So
my gosh.
Says that Caleb Banworth also doing good things at Ole Miss, albeit not quite as good as Danny yet. So
nice.
All right.
Okay, read Fred's last comment here. Is
Pitt's night? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Our friend Jason Reeves asking for his pal Durf Okus. Pig Latin. Pig Latin, Greg.
No, that's just backwards. That's not Pig Latin.
It is. Oh, that's true. Do you know how to speak Pig Latin?
It would have been Edfrey Akose.
Okay.
Pitt Snipe Husker says, oh, hell no, that Jason bastard is an asshole. You know what he did? He got me drunk and stoned yesterday and shit my pants. You know what? Yeah. Don't say that about Jason. Jason's my birthday buddy. So.
That's true.
All right. Well, let us move forward and knock out some of this very important housekeeping that we do each and every week. And first and foremost, we have to remind you, if you haven't already, on Facebook, Facebook too, but YouTube, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, and make sure you ring that bell for notifications so you never miss a new 5 Heart podcast or Monday Night Therapy or Husker Happy Hour or Coronation Overreaction, or if we can talk Beth into doing a volleyball update or John's instant post-game reactions, all the great content that's here on the Coronation YouTube channel. You won't want to miss it, and you won't with the notification bell. If you haven't yet, as you probably know already, John Dam Johnston has Booker 3, and the one that I have is called Been Dead, Never Been to Europe. My recovery from the Widowmaker heart attack and the brain injury that came with it. You know what? I didn't take this with me to get it autographed.
I took mine and I forgot to ask him, but I have a question. Have you read the book?
Yes.
Okay. When I first started reading the book, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can read this. This is a horribly written book.
Oh gosh.
And
then you've got to know John a little bit better. I'm like, oh no, it makes sense now.
Well, I understand, because he tries to explain what the brain damage has done to his memory, and that's the first part of the book. I mean, there's just like no preface to that. You just go straight in. And it's so confusing because he's talking about this guy and then how this guy's his son now, or maybe his brother. And I mean, it's just, I'm like, there's no way I can read this book. This is insane. And then I get to a little bit through it and I'm like, oh. And then he says, and that's what it's like for me on a daily basis. You know, all these jumbled memories, or maybe they're not memories and they're just thoughts that he thinks is a memory. And I thought, oh my gosh, to live like that would be insane. I mean, it's a good book. I liked it.
Which is why he, you know, I don't think he minds the saying, which is why he's kind of, unless we need him or by special request, but he's kind of bowed out of this show. You know, he's like, you guys are, in fact, he said after in the week after the Colorado game, he says, you two are great. He says, somebody says they prefer this version of the show with you and me versus me and him. He said, because Minnie's so positive and she's wonderful. He's, I'm just a negative old curmudgeon, essentially. So,
he's being kind.
Well, you're great too. That's fine. Make sure that if you haven't yet, I'm not wearing my Cobby Corn merch because I'm wearing this Target bought item here. This little number. CobbyCorn.com for all of your Corn Nation gear, whether it's the Corn Nation logo or perhaps the RTFB or the RTDB, if you know the difference. Protect Your Balls, which is the one that I rocked last week. So get it all. You can get the full bodysuit, Cobby sweatshirt, sweatpant, combination. It's all available at CobbyCorn.com. Minnie?
Look who's joining us. He's spying on us.
That's fine. Hi, John.
Damn Johnston.
We love you. Hold on. I'm going to pull that message up so I can see exactly what he said. Because that's right. I watch things.
I didn't say curmudgeon, you bastard. He's talking to Greg. Just FYI.
He said, by the way, I did talk to some people in Lincoln who felt that Thursday show was a lot better with you two, Greg and Minnie, than with me. So that was interesting. Good to hear. I said, how many drinks did they have when they started spouting that nonsense? And he said they pointed out how negative I am and how positive Minnie is, and I agree with them. Okay, so I guess he didn't say that. They didn't say that he was a curmudgeon. So. And I never told you who Kurt Angle was last week on the show. We didn't ever discuss that. That's okay.
No, we never went there.
That's all right.
Rostowski, you're keeping receipts.
I'm keeping receipts that prove me wrong. So look at me. I'm Deion Sanders.
Whoops. Okay. Take that off.
And the last little bit that we have for the
this is great. I think it's great, you guys.
This comes to us from our one and only Minnie Hunt over here. And this is chat from, is that from Monday night? Last week? Yes. Monday night?
It's either Monday night or it's last Thursday.
So look, for all the benefit of those with a screen in front of them, this is just a little snapshot of the comment section, the chatter fields. Again, if it was on a Thursday night, the Insane Asylum, if it's on a Monday night. It's Fred, it's Living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the Five Heart Podcast, Justin Raji, Jason Reeves, just the back and forth, the camaraderie that has been built here in this community. Minnie really wanted to highlight this and essentially just make sure that if you're not joining us specifically on YouTube, to come over and to be part of the conversation over here, because what what we have built, and you know, the Facebook is great and X is great, but YouTube is where you can truly interact with the Chatterfields. And if you think that we highlight and share and publish a tenth maybe of the conversation, so. And if you ever wonder again, you know, we look off to the side and I bust up laughing because something ridiculous that Fred said. And, you know, like, full disclosure, like 78% of the things that Fred says are pretty ridiculous. But it is such a community that has grown with this show, with this Corn Nation YouTube channel. So please, you know, I'm not going to beg. It's not my way. But if you want to be really if you want to be where the action is, so to speak, join us on YouTube, whether you become a member or not, but just make sure you subscribe, be here for these live shows over on YouTube, because this is where you find the best version of the show. So, Minnie, does that pretty well sum up what you wanted me to say about this?
Yeah. Perfect. And I have to tell you guys, after all the shows, because that's how I started getting involved, is being part of the chat. So I always go back because I don't always have a chance to read everything. And I always go back and read through the live chat and I crack up. I mean, sometimes I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard. It's just too good.
We missed apparently a very important and or controversial comment from, let's see, from Aaron Keene, I think, or maybe it was from Pit Snipe Husker. If that's you, Jason, put your damn name back. I can't say it. I can't. Okay,
it is.
All right, Jason, this is gonna be like Scott all over again. Rascal. Aaron Rostowski. John, if you're still here, Aaron Rostovsky says he wants to make sure that I get my $1.99 for doing lunges on camera tonight, and I think you can add that to the $27.99 that I'm still owed. You can Venmo me. Just Pitt.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so
yes. I need a pulling thread.
And David Scott said, I hope you guys get the program back on track. I loved watching the powerhouse Nebraska teams of the 90s. I'll be rooting for you all. Woo, pig.
No, wait. Can you keep that one on there, please?
Yes.
Any comment that spells out y'all, they're going to get my special accent. David Scott says, hope you guys get the program back on track. Loved watching the powerhouse Nebraska teams of the 90s. I'll be rooting for y'all. Woo, pig.
Woo, pig. Greg, you need like a little, straw hanging out or something. Toothpick.
I could get it. Come on,
we need props.
I was a professional broadcaster. Thank you very damn much. I'll keep my dignity. I've already done lunges on the internet. Isn't that enough?
I'll never forget it.
So here's the thing. It's burned into everybody's brain. David Scott, I hope you guys get the program back on track. Brother, if it were up to me, we'd be back on track. It's a process. You got to trust the process. You have to celebrate the process. You don't necessarily celebrate the result, but if you celebrate the process, then the results will fall into place.
I love that, Greg. Beautifully put.
I'm a beautifully put together. Never mind. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
No. All right. Fred says, if I'm partially to blame for Minnie taking over, Greg, I can't say I'm sorry, you shit ass. Hey, you don't get to call me that. Only John can call me that.
I think everyone has called you that, either to your face or behind your back.
Wow. Thanks. Yeah, I'll take it. Accent is close. I'll take the points. Corn pipe. Yeah. Thanks, Melissa. All right. I'm gonna star that one for later, Tony. Can we talk some football? Is it time?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, we're 45 minutes into this thing. We haven't even mentioned the fact that Nebraska's 3-0 and ranked number 22 in the country, and they're coming off of a game that they won. And, Haas and I talked when we did our show Sunday night. The fact that we're complaining about how we're winning is a good thing. I think the fact that we're being boring in the fourth quarter and letting second string, third string guys, we had almost, correct me if I'm wrong, Minnie, we had almost as much participation in this game as we had in the UTEP game, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
We absolutely did. And, even Coach Rhule addressed that to the guys in his, after game speech, which I have completely written down and have been practicing. But he said, by the way, I wanted to ask this question. Have you ever hunted?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I have not.
Neither have I. But he said, that's what it felt like out there today. That's what it felt like to be hunted instead of the hunter. I thought that was a great analogy because, you and I gave it all they had. They were trying to take us down, and they fought a good fight. But he said, it's going to take everybody winning games 34-3 like we're supposed to. While it's not as exhilarating as it was last week against Colorado, that's what good teams do. And you're slowly becoming a good team. And you have to fight to become a great team. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Rhule Theater.
Aaron Keene, yeah, we need like a banner and like the tragedy and the comedy mask. Like here's Minnie's Matt Rhule speech of the week. If we die, we die.
Yes, exactly. He does like to repeat things. After writing out so many of his speeches, I understand that's how he thinks. He likes to repeat it so that it gets that emphasis. What?
Have you ever just thought about going online and finding like a transcription service so you don't have to write out the speech?
Well, even if I did that, I did think about that, but if I did that, I wouldn't get the emphasis where he puts the emphasis.
That's fair.
Yeah. And I want to be truthful to his speeches.
Pitt says Minnie's doing her Rudy impression. Stand on the chair, girl.
My gosh. Really?
Come on.
Rudy impression?
Come on.
No.
We're going to go inside. We're going to go outside. Inside and outside. We're going to get them on the run, boys. And then once we get them on, we're going to keep them on the run. And we're going to go, 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 go. And we're not going to stop until we get across that goal line. This is a team that they say is good. Well, I think we're better than them. They can't lick us. So what do you say, man? I love that movie.
So good.
I don't care. I love that movie.
I do too. That is really good. You do great impersonations.
Pitt, if I get on the chair will break. And that's not me being fat. I'm actually down over 28 pounds. That is the fact that this chair is older than me. It's barely hanging on. I need to get it replaced.
Okay. Well, we beat the pants off of you and I.
Why do you keep talking about? Never mind. I'm not allowing myself to finish that question.
Pants taken off of football players? Is that where you're going? Oh my gosh.
What are we doing?
I have no idea. I have no idea. But I will change that.
Thanks, living in Omaha, David Manny, the official realtor of the 5 Heart Podcast. Pit pants.
Yeah. Oh my God.
All right, moving on. So we took care. Here's what I think. Here's what I really liked about the game Saturday night. We won. We didn't care about style points. I go back to Notre Dame. Notre Dame lost in week 2 to Northern Illinois. And then they dropped in the polls. I think they were at 6 or 7 in the polls at the time, maybe 8. And then now they're 14, 16, something like that. They came out in the in-state rivalry with Purdue, and they beat the crap out of Purdue, something like 66-14 or something like that. Nebraska does not need to make those statements. You heard Matt Rhule emphasize it after the UTEP game. Hey, we're not here to embarrass them. I think if he wanted to, if Matt Rhule wanted to be a dick, he could have kept Dylan Raiola, Dante Dowdell. He could have kept the ones in for the entire game, and yeah, they probably would have scored over 50 points. But why? There's no point. That's playing for today. What Matt Rhule is doing is he's playing for tomorrow. He's playing for 2025. He's playing for 2026. He's making sure that the guys who are coming up have honest-to-God serviceable snaps, because you never know when they may be called on. And the fact that defense stood tall in the fourth quarter and kept the Panthers out of the end zone, that was a challenge. That you go back and you watch Chasing 3, or really, I don't even think you need Chasing 3. Any of the sideline cameras on during the game probably caught the conversation with like Ty Robinson, Isaac Gifford, talking to the 2s and the 3s and coaching them up. And that was a badge of honor to keep UNI out of the end zone. That was something that they wanted to happen. If you go back and watch Chasing 3, the veterans are talking to the young guys and saying, hey, you can do this. You can do this. By the way, not only can you do this, this is the expectation. Do not let them score. And the defense did its part. I don't care if they gave up, the 10-minute, 16-play drive. It ended in 3 points. At the end, that's the only points that they had. I don't think Nebraska punted in this game. They were, John said it best. There was never a moment in this game that Nebraska was not going to win. They march down the field, and each of their first, did you notice that each of the first 3 possessions got shorter and shorter, despite the fact that the length of the field that they had to go was longer? They were executing at such an efficient rate that if I'm like, we'll get to Illinois, we'll get to tomorrow night's game, but other teams need to take notice of how well this offense can operate, because they're 3 games into the season. They are 3 games into Dylan Raiola's college career, and they are moving the ball so well.
When you put it like that, 3 games into Dylan Raiola's college career, that puts a whole new perspective, the right perspective, I might add, on what is going on at Nebraska. Yes, he is a 5-star recruit. Yes, he is, he's really a great quarterback, but it's also the team. The team behind him is that's who the real stars are. It's amazing.
And I think that's, through the benefit and let's see. Aaron Rostovsky says, I said no spoilers. Look, I'm sorry. Kind of. It's been out, I used to say it every week, and I've fallen, please don't think that by my not saying it that I feel like I'm taking you Chatterfields for granted, but I know that you have a lot of entertainment options at 9:00 Central on a Thursday night. So I truly appreciate the fact that you spend your time here with us. That being said, this is a short episode. This Chasing 3 is only like 24, 25 minutes, Rostovsky. So no excuses. All right.
He's saying the one that we just watched, one that just came out, the Chasing 3. We have to talk about that.
Well, he said no spoil because he hasn't seen it yet.
Well, Rostovsky, we have to. It was so good. And now that we're talking about it, you'll be like, that's what they were talking about.
Michael Hassman says, you gain more by building depth to weather an entire season. The blowouts will come, but building a complete team is more. I agree. And kind of going back to what I was saying, the mentality that they have been building up, if you go all the way back to the chasing three in like the before the spring, through the spring, the summer workouts, everything is building for the team. There's
everything.
I don't think that there's a whole. I mean, you could go back to like Ty Robinson coming back, for another year. Isaac Gifford coming back. The fact, Matt Rhule keys on this time and time again, and I think it's important. I think it's important for the younger guys to know. I think it's important for recruits to know. Guys like Ty Robinson, Isaac Gifford, who could be playing, Matt Rhule encouraged them, like, go get paid. They came back because they saw something special. They are the foundation that this team is being built around. And they could have been me guys, but they're being we guys. And I don't think that can be understated because of what is taking place in Lincoln, Nebraska right now is around this football program is truly special. I believe that in my heart of 5 hearts. There's something building here that will last a very long time. I'll never forget the way Isaac Gifford stated why he came back. He saw what happened with his brother who was here, I think the first year of Scott Frost. And,
Luke.
Luke, yes, thank you. I knew that, but that's okay. And Luke left, I think probably a year early, and so did a lot of those seniors. And so there was no foundation. And Isaac's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to see this program suffer again. Mm-hmm. So he came back to help. Again, they need to find a great synonym for culture, but he came back to continue to build the foundation and to return Nebraska to some level of prominence. And we're seeing that. Again, Nebraska's 3-0 for the first time since what, 06 or something like that, or some 2012, I don't know. But they're ranked. They have a big game coming in tomorrow night against another ranked team. It's a Big Ten opener for both teams. And as fans, especially fans who have been here through the storm, it is our time now to be even louder. 2016, thank you, Michael. It is our time now to step up even more, through the grace of God and a good friend named best friend of the show, Josh Hansen. I was fortunate enough to go to that Colorado game, and I brought all the excitement, all that energy as much as I could with me for, years of football frustration, years of excitement, years of always having to want to be in that building and never having the opportunity to be in that building. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow night is going to be somebody's first game in Lincoln, Nebraska. And I hope they bring that same type of energy. I hope that the fans.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I hope the fans are as fired up and ready. They need to be louder tomorrow night than they were a couple Saturdays against Colorado. I mean, that's how.
This was the first game to get this. This game was sold out months ago. As soon as they announced it, it was sold out in like a couple of weeks. Anthony Nicolite is going to the game tomorrow.
He's got a 700-mile drive, so
8 hours. And so he's all excited. I don't know how he's even going to. He thinks he's going to get a couple hours of sleep before he starts making the drive. Good luck.
He should have been in bed hours ago. Tony, what do you think?
He's just so excited. He's so excited. And I feel it. I feel like everybody is just like, yeah, I have plans for the game tomorrow. So I'm excited. Are you excited, Greg? What are you doing for the game?
I will be in my chair watching the game with my family around me until it's time to put the twins to bed, and then I'll hit pause like I did last Saturday night. Go do bedtime routine with the twins. We do a little story. We do a couple prayers. We play a couple songs. We hugs and kisses and good nights. And then I'll come home and I'll hit or come back downstairs. I'll hit play and we'll be ready to go.
I love it.
Cornhusker Corner. Great to see you back, CC, by the way. Our seniors are the lifeblood on this team. Don't want to look too far ahead, but the combo of the veteran leadership and young talent might take us pretty far. And it's on both sides of the line. We know that. We know about Nash and Ty, Jamari Butler, who's going to play tomorrow night. But on the offensive line, we've got Bryce Benhart, Ben Scott. I think I heard yesterday, Minnie, that Micah Mazuka is going to play. And then you've got.
I just need to say something about that.
Okay, please.
He was dressed. He was dressed out for the last game too. I saw him on the sidelines. He just didn't play. So
whatever. And sometimes I think that's. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying. Hopefully, whatever it is that Rhule said he's working on is behind him, and he can start contributing again. He's a fantastic player, so I can't wait to see him.
I think that it's probably tougher on a player to be dressed and be ready and have gone through all of the pregame warm-ups and drills and then to not play than to dress out and just kind of watch the whole thing from the sideline. Because when you're dressed in whether he knew he wasn't going to play, I'm sure he knew from the beginning he wasn't going to play. But whether he knew that or not, the fact that he's like, all right, well, I got to sit here and I'm ready, coach. No, he's not looking my direction. I just think that'd be much more difficult than say just dressing out and being back with some of the other guys who are scratched for the game.
No, truly. Anthony Nicolite says it's my daughter's first game too. Well, that is awesome. Her family out there doesn't think Nebraska football should be a life or death situation. Us real Nebraska fans know it's way more serious than that. And Anthony, I hope that your daughter has tremendous memories from this trip.
Yeah,
I know
for sure.
she will. This is going to be an epic trip for the two of you. So drive safely and have fun. Sounds so great.
Yeah. Be safe. Be safe on the road. I don't know which direction you're coming from. It's not the place. I'm not asking where you live or anything like that. But yeah, be safe on the roads.
Ohio.
Okay.
Ohio.
He just said that. Crap. That means you got to drive through Iowa. I'm real sorry. I at least know that my time in Iowa was like 10 minutes or less. So, but safe travels, not just to you, Tony, but to anybody who is heading to the game and heading home. So I see this. I'm going to start that for later because that's a gripe, and I don't want to get to the gripe. I'm in a happy place.
Oh, by the way, I looked up synonyms for culture because I know we hate that word. It's like taboo.
Did you go to thesaurus.com?
I did.
Nice. Great resource.
Okay. Tell me if any of these are good in your mind. Traditions, heritage, customs,
no,
lifestyle,
no,
way of life.
I can handle that.
Way of life. The Nebraska way of life.
And Nebraska is the good life. Although it's also not for everybody. So it's the good way of life that's not for everybody.
There you go. We settled it here and now on 5 Heart.
Rostovsky says, all right, I'm watching you guys and chasing 3 at the same time on my 2 TVs. I think Minnie just scored a touchdown, but I could be wrong. Well,
it was me. It was me.
That's what I think too. Let's see.
All right. So you and I, let's get back to you and I. Guess who scored their first touchdown on Saturday?
Carter Nelson.
First touchdown of
the Ainsworth boy. His yes. third game of 11-man football. And here's the thing.
He really didn't even play against Colorado, did he?
Not that much.
I think so. Yeah.
He doesn't look like a freshman there. Isn't that crazy?
Well, do you remember when we looked at that picture of him standing right next to Thomas Fidone on a 5-heart a couple months ago
No,
when
but I'll take your
they
word
were in
for it.
practice? Greg, we did. You couldn't tell the difference if you didn't know who they were. Same size, same build.
You're
It's pretty
right.
amazing.
Speaking of, I got this one here. Speaking of Mr. Fidone, Aaron Keene says, for real, though, Fidone needs to step up. He is underperforming, in my opinion.
Oh, no,
See,
Aaron Keene. And John pronounces his last name as Ken. So I'm not the only
John's
one
wrong.
who
John's
had
wrong.
questions. I know.
I got it first try, Minnie. I'm number 1.
You are. Okay, here's the deal with Fidone. If you look at his plays, most of his plays that he's on the field with, he's blocking. He's blocking so many times. It's like they aren't throwing to him, but when they are, he does catch it, and he does make an effort to get a couple of yards. Maybe that's what you're talking about, but the plays that they have him in for the most part, he's blocking. And he's doing a great job at that.
True, but I also think he has I agree with you. I don't think he's underperforming. I just don't think that they have strategized or schemed or game planned in a way to fully utilize him. I don't think we could put that on him. So this time, like, look, most of the time, Aaron, I agree with you, but this time
we've got another Aaron. No. Aaron Drury says, how many targets has Fidone gotten, though? Okay. That's a great question. Greg, do you want to pull up the stats picture that we have and see if we might be able to tell from that?
Oh, God. Do I want to? Yes. Am I going to be able to? That's not it. There we go.
Is that it?
No, that's passing and rushing.
Oh, darn it.
That's last year. Well, what are we doing here? All right, hold on. You talk, I'll look.
Okay. That sounds good. Hey, you know what? While
Chicken butt.
You're looking, I wanted to say, okay, well, first off, Megan McKenzie. Megan's in the house. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. That's a weird thing to say. Let's see.
And then, well, Haas is in the house as well. Hello, Haas. Yeah. He says, can we talk about Jimmy McNutty's Bielema joke? Which is this.
Bielema? That's not his Bielema joke.
No, this is it.
I heard Bret Bielema was at Westroads Mall today and asked someone how to get down to 480. Person told them, keep doing what you're doing, coach. Attaboy, Jimmy McNutty.
Oh, gosh.
Hi, Hoss. Great seeing you, my friend. Big dog
Golden.
Hoss. Hoss, yes. Hoss also says, Hoss, did you just want me to send you the link so you can just jump on in here? It says, if Carter Nelson was a better blocker, the staff would start Nelson over him. I think Borkature is better than Fidone. Fidone struggles to get open, struggles to set the edge, and lacks explosion. So.
Wow, Hoss. Dang.
Good.
Dang, dude.
Boom. Sorry.
Well,
also,
Carter Nelson has some growth yet to do. Obviously, that's why they haven't.
Carter Nelson has
right end.
7 catches, 69 yards on the season, 9.9 yard average, 1 touchdown, and Thomas Fidone has 6 catches for 27 yards. So, which is great. Now, do you think it is do you think there's trepidation from Fidone about the knee and maybe not, trying to just not end up? Yeah. So Hassman says 2 knee injuries can do that to an athlete. I feel bad for the kid. I mean, he was the top ranked tight end coming out of high school, something like that, and just hadn't been in his favor. But I'm not going to be down on the kid. I think that there are ways to utilize him. Maybe when we see down in like red zones, things like that. Maybe if he doesn't have to necessarily, I think we saw with Carter in that touchdown on Saturday that he's got some breakaway speed. He's got good balance. He was able to use his size and leverage that to get some separation and some space.
I thought the same thing when I watched the games first off, but then when you watch them in slow motion and rewind and slow motion and rewind, like I tend to do, you see that Thomas Fidoni's used for other things. And then Cornhusker Corner says Fidoni is fine. He's just more of a possession downfield red zone jump ball tight end. Wow, that is a mouthful. And they are primarily giving him touches on the perimeter. Doesn't make much sense.
Don't do it, Fred.
What?
No, I agree. Haas counters that again. Haas, I could send you the link, man. It's okay. He hasn't been utilized in jump ball situations at any point in his career. That being said, he hasn't been healthy for all of his career. I don't argue with Haas, but I also think that if he's going to be your, I find that one again. I apologize.
That would be like arguing with Melissa.
Well, I definitely don't do that.
You did last week, though.
Not me. You must be talking about somebody else.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, if we utilized him more from the 10, 15 yard line out, getting him closer to whatever. However they're utilizing him out in the flats, a lot of the short passes, it's not benefiting him. So I get it.
Okay. We're 3 games in, so let's not get carried away, people. We don't know. They haven't opened up the playbook yet. And that is one thing that I wanted to talk about is that remember last year when everyone's like, fire Satterfield. Who's this bum? He's doing to us what he did to the Panthers. I mean, we heard it all. And not one complaint this year about Satterfield.
Look,
isn't that interesting?
We have such esteem for Marcus Satterfield that we named the comment section after him. Think about that. You've never heard me say one word against him. Other people maybe, but you got to understand. I'm looking at the long. I'm playing the long game here, so I'm moving on. I wasn't able to find out exactly how many targets Fidoni had to this point, so I apologize. But
guys, okay, Fred.
Why is this? I'm nervous.
Don't get carried away. I got nothing. It writes itself. Really? How's that? I don't understand. Oh, he just makes me laugh.
Satterfield. Vince Watson says Satterfield is still the weak link IMO.
Wow.
Again, this year he has weapons. This year, the offensive skill players aren't dropping like flies. Knock on wood. So, and look, Nebraska Rascal. We've been about as vanilla so far this season in the second half because we haven't had to. Go back even against Colorado. We were up 28-0 at halftime. Defense did the rest. I'm not worried. We've been able to sit and preserve our starters in the second half of football games, 2 out of the 3 games. We're 3-0 and we're 22 in the country. That is all I can ask for at this point of the season.
It's like this, okay? We've been through the trenches. We've been dragged through the mud as a fan base. And it's like what John said on Saturday. We saw a team this year that is actually good. So we have our expectation level set so high now that we want to be wowed. But as Rhule said in his speech, his after game speech on Saturday, he said, it's not exhilarating, but it's how good teams win. You slowly become good. You take small steps every week to getting great. So that's what we have to look forward to.
Let's
wins.
Right. Let us talk. We're gonna wrap up. You and I talk here in rapid session. We talked about the fourth quarter shutout. We talked about Carter Nelson's first touchdown. We talked about, I think we talked about Dylan, 247 yards, 2 touchdowns. Malcolm Hartzog.
You didn't mention him at all. No.
Oh, well, Dylan Rhule, 247 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Let's not forget that.
But that interception
here we go. Oh, Lord. It wasn't his fault. And Jalen Lloyd's got to fight a little bit more for it. And it's never Dylan's fault. And Dylan is a god. And we're all, hold on.
As long as we have that
actually, I have an image that will perfectly encapsulate your thoughts right now. Well, let me find it. This came to us from one of our frequent contributors to the show. There we go. Oh, yes. This is from Joe Lilakis. As soon as it gets... There you go. On the 8th day, the Lord said, Husker Nation has suffered enough. Deliver upon them Rhule and Rhule. So, they're
beautiful picture.
Yeah.
On the 8th day.
I don't know if you remember a band from the 90s called the Spin Doctors.
Yes.
They had a song called Little Miss Can't Be Wrong.
Yeah.
And apparently that's you right now. I'm not going to sing it. I'm not going to sing it.
Come on, Greg.
Let's see. Fred says, Greg, damn it, Greg, drop and give Minnie 20 and shave your head to look like Dylan or get a wig and Macho Man shades.
Yeah.
Well, they're not your shades. They're just glowy glasses. That's not the same. Sorry, never mind. All right. So anyway, I'm sorry we didn't address the high chief of Husker football, Dylan Rhule. But Malcolm Hartzog got his second interception in 3 games. The defense, I think, did a really great job. They've only allowed 20 points in 3 games, which I believe is the lowest through 3 games. If someone's going to fact check me, and that's fine. But I feel like I heard that since 2006 is the last time that the defense was this stingy. So we'll take it.
I love it.
Oh, see, Michael Hassman again. 05. 05. Rushy G says 05, I think. So again,
man, this is insane. How you guys live and breathe this and have just that knowledge right off the top of your head. I love that. That is why I'm here, right there. I love that.
We'll talk about that, Caleb. Don't worry. All right, so we're going to shift focus and head into tomorrow night's game against the Illini. But before we do that, Minnie, I sent you a video about the Canadian Football League today. I said, do you think we should talk about this? Is this going to make for good conversation on the show? Basically what it was is the, I don't know if it's John Boy Media or what, but is somebody breaking down a little known rule in the CFL that, a field goal, if you make a field goal, it's worth 3 points. But if it was a tie game between the Toronto Argonauts and I don't know the Saskatchewan Rough Riders or whatever. I don't know all the teams up there. It's fine. If you miss the field goal, but you still clear the end zone with the ball in the air, you get 1 point. So the score was tied with 4 seconds left, 14-14. I think the Toronto Argonauts were lined up for a field goal. They missed the field goal, but the ball cleared the end zone, and so they won 15-14. And I got thinking, I'm like, you hate this rule, by the way. You couldn't imagine that was a thing.
It's actually really surprising. To me, you might as well just flip a coin and say, okay, heads or tails, who's going to win? You know that National Lampoon's Vegas Vacation movie with Chevy Chase walking into the casino, the one that's kind of like backwards.
Yeah.
And you have to guess a number between 1 and 10. That's what I feel like that rule is like.
See, I think of it more like NBA Jam, where, if you hit the hot spot, or, sometimes you see this more in like celebrity, games. You're an individual of a certain age. You probably remember what was it? It's like around the NBA All-Star game. It was like the Rock Jock All-Star game or something like that, where they had some athletes, but they also had like celebrities, musicians, actors, things like that. And I remember this one where if you made a 3, it was a 3, but they also had like, a basket at 20 feet and a basket at like 50 feet. And so if you shot it up there, it was like 10 points. And so that's why what I think could be really fun is, let's say that a field goal within the standard PAT parameters is a point. But by God, I think if you kick a 55-yard field goal, that should be worth 5 points. Let's liven it up a little bit. Let's make special teams great again.
Here's the thing, okay, Greg, and I wrote this to you. When you think about football, you think competitiveness, right? You think, like, I think guys just getting down and dirty and being super competitive. How is kicking it and it not making it in between the goals, how is that getting you a point? That makes no sense whatsoever. Nobody's carrying it in. Just the kicker just, whoop, oh, we didn't make it, but hey, you still get 1 point.
No. You don't get it just for kicking it. You have to kick it and have it clear the end zone. Like if it had dropped in the end zone, no points. You go to overtime.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. Like, okay, the point that I said, yeah, we should talk about this because this guy, and I have a hard time pronouncing his name.
He's not watching. It's okay. He's probably not even a real person. By the way, was I focusing elsewhere? Did you say down and dirty?
Yeah, probably. That sounds like something I would say. Oh shoot!
Wait. What does Fred say?
When? You think down and oh gosh.
Say it.
Ethan?
Say it.
You think down and dirty, sploosh.
Gotta do it. Never fails. I don't know why we keep it here.
You get
but it's
a different, please.
There's really not many gifts out there for sploosh that we can actually put on the internet.
Maybe we shouldn't then. His name is Ethan Okay, tell me how to pronounce this. Moczulski. Moczulski. Mazukolski? Maczuli. Oh,
M-A-Z. Say it again.
M-O-C.
Okay.
Z. M-O-C-Z-U-L-S-K-I. That's the kicker.
Are you sure it's not Ethan?
Yeah, that's his name. Ethan.
I thought you said Evan. I'm sorry. I'm going to say Moczulski.
Moczulski. Say it again.
Moczulski. God dang it. Moczulski. It's not easy for me to say. Yeah, that's worse than Mahashko.
It's so hard. Imagine being him growing up. Oh my gosh.
MSEKEYMOUSE. Thanks, James. Good to see James
Okay.
Warman here.
Yes. Hi, James. So he's the one who, in fall camp, he kicked a 60-yard field goal. And in the game last week against Central Michigan, he kicked a 59-yard field goal right before half, I might add. And Central Michigan was up over Illinois. So, I mean, this is what it reminded me of. Imagine that being the rule in American football. Okay?
Well, John's here joining us in the comments. He says that it's a rule that's left over from rugby around 1879. And she just hates the fact that it's an existing rule that's left over. She's like, no leftovers here. We don't keep leftovers in the hunting house. We throw that shit in the trash.
It's so true.
That is true.
And only John would know because he was there.
Oh. Wow.
Sorry.
Usually only I can say stuff like that. Housekeeping can also.
I know. It was begging to be said.
I don't. Rostovsky says, "Damn it, Greg! Now I'm watching old Rock and Jock highlights on my phone." You're welcome.
Jeez.
Okay. So, all right. So we're going to put that CFL rule behind us. We're going to shift focus again to the Nebraska Illinois game. That's tomorrow night, 7:00, and I believe that one is on Fox. And we all know
it's only taken an hour and a half to get to talk to about the game tomorrow night. I love you, John.
We're handing out points again. I don't know who's keeping score, but Cornhusker Corner gets 3 points for a Carlin reference. John Carlin. Supposed to be, I suppose, an amalgamation of John Johnston and George Carlin. So,
ooh, nice.
All right. Yes, well, let's talk about Illinois. Minnie, tell us all about the head football coach of the Fighting Illini.
Okay, first of all, Greg, I need to know, did you read my description for this?
Yes, of course. I always do.
Would you read it now?
Oh, it would be an honor and a privilege. I have to pull it up, though, because I didn't have that tab open. And I have to wait so I can. Okay. All right, here we go. Well, because I had to make sure that I pause the audio so it's not duplicating in my ear. So.
Oh, okay.
All right. Become a member of this channel. Join now and get access to exclusive perks. No thanks.
You're not a member.
I'm not a member. I'm on staff. All right.
Here we go.
Do a few more lunges.
What accent are we going to get? What accent are we getting to right now?
Movie trailer guy.
Okay.
When you hear the slogan, "There's no place like Nebraska," this Friday night game should come to mind. It's the 400th consecutive sellout game at Memorial Stadium, with the Nebraska Cornhuskers hosting the Illinois Fighting Illini at 7 p.m. As we prepare for the excitement and pride of our Friday Night Lights game, Greg and Minnie will discuss last week's epic win 34-3 over the University of Northern Iowa, and how the mistakes from that game, which were quickly overcome, are key elements to help Nebraska dominate against the Illini. There are so many similarities in this upcoming game. Friday night will be both teams' first Big Ten Conference game. Currently, Nebraska is 3-0 and Illinois is 3-0. Both teams finished 2023 with a 5-7 record. QB play this season has drastically improved for each team. Both Matt Rhule and Bret Fatass believe in emphasizing complementary football while having a strong running game, great special teams, consistent passing play, and being the most physical team on the field. With these similarities, each team will utilize every talent, trick, and advantage they have for this game on Friday night. It could be those advantages that can make all the difference. See you Thursday night at 9 p.m. Central, GBR.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So here is the stats for Nebraska and Illinois.
I don't have a Carol Channing. James,
you need to work on that.
I don't think I could. James Boardman says, "Cool, now read it like Carol Channing." And that popped to some of the boys. Aaron Keene laughed. Pitt Snipe Husker laughed. And I didn't do a Numa Numa proper. I did a little Noom Noom, we'll call. So, all right.
Oh, my God. Anthony's not going to sleep.
Plus 6.
Yeah. He was supposed to be taking a nap before his long drive, and he's still with us. He just can't go to sleep. He's all stoked. I knew it.
He's been almost
That's
2 years.
exactly how
He's
I
had
would
a
be.
Husker hot warmer or a hand warmer. So super stoked for the Runza. So I can't do a Gilbert. I can't do people, impersonations of people. I can just mimic general sounds. Next week, I'll do it as a duck. Quack, quack, quack.
Oh, Greg.
Okay, let's talk about these stats.
That is too funny. That is just too crazy. All right. So, I mean, Matt Rhule said in his press conference on Monday, if you look at their team and our team, we're pretty similar in stats, kind of across the board. And he's right. I mean, you can see here, and by the way, I took this from huskermax.com, but they have bolded, basically who's the winner in each stat line. But it's very little difference other than the rushing defense.
Yep.
Are you tired, Greg?
No, I'm okay. We have good rushing defense. The rushing defense is good for Nebraska.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh. What kind of accent was that?
That wasn't an accent.
It's like Speedy Gonzalez.
No, that's cultural appropriation.
Okay.
No, I'll be honest with you. What I really am excited about is to see how we have some. We've talked about this before. We have a stable of tremendous running backs: Dante Dowdell, Ramir Johnson, Emmett Johnson, and if we get the opportunity to see him, Gabe Irvin Jr. We have, when you can bring Emmett Johnson in the fourth quarter with fresh legs, and punish a defense that's been look, in this Big Ten football, right? So there's going to be a lot of contact up front. I think the defensive line, the middle portion of that front seven is going to be softened up a little bit. If you can bring in a fresh leg, Emmett Johnson, and I'm trying to, Lord, because I know our people, because I know our fan family here, I'm trying to keep this as euphemism free as possible, but it's just tough because it's football.
We have to tiptoe around these people.
We do.
Have you noticed that?
Because I know that they're just chomping at the bit for me. If we can bring in a hammer late in the game and really attack their defense with like an Emmett Johnson, then we're going to run for over 200 yards this game, bar none.
I love that. Here's what Melissa has to say. They have no linebacker middle open for runs and passes.
Aaron Keene says, these people, quote, Minnie, 9/19/2024. Tony says it all depends on which Big Ten officiating crew we get for a Friday night national broadcast game. It should be one of the good ones. You would hope. So,
yeah.
Fred said, these people, geez, Minnie just hit at least half of us.
Sorry, I didn't mean that.
Yes, we're all chomping a bit for Greg. I don't know if that's not entirely sure. Hammer euphemisms. See, everybody's getting Cornhusker Corey, man, we missed you. We're so glad that you came back to hang out with us tonight. No, what I'm most excited about, besides the fact that it's, for me, it's a measure of bragging rights. Again, because after the game tomorrow night, I'm going to get text messages one way or another from people that I work with, or it's going to happen first thing Saturday morning. But then I get, when Nebraska wins, I get to walk into my office a little bit, again, kind of that Conor McGregor strut, so, but more importantly, take me personally out of it. Obviously, it's going to be, this is weird. National stage against the top 25 opponent. You don't usually think of Illinois in this way, but when Nebraska wins tomorrow, that's going to be something of a statement win. It's not Ohio State or Michigan or Penn State or, the list goes on and on for what would be considered statement wins, but these are traditionally, especially in the last 10 or so years, games that Nebraska has not won. So, I take it back. And the only reason I take that back is because I read an interview today with, it was on offtackleempire.com, and it was an interview with the kid who in 2013 went viral because he had the half Nebraska shirt and the half Illinois shirt, NEBRNOIS, number noise, because he grew up a little bit in Illinois, moved to Nebraska, became fans of both teams. The good thing is he has 100% hatred for Iowa, being half Illinois fan, half Nebraska fan. But he said that one of his favorite wins is, I think it was 2016 when Nebraska beat Oregon. And Oregon was 22 at the time or 16, something like that. I know Michael Hassman's going to fact check me, and that's fine. But Nebraska has not won the majority of these games, the vast majority of these games in the last decade. And realistically, even in the Bo Pelini era, we were not winning these games. We were winning 9 games and getting our asses handed to us in the big ones. Tomorrow night, it's a big test. It's a big contest. But when Nebraska wins, it's going to be a statement win. And that will help get them into the top 20. And, again, the spotlight gets bigger on this team, but Matt Rhule and company's approach is just to manage what you can manage, play within yourselves. Stop it, Fred. And take care of Nebraska football. And when they do that and they shut out the exterior distractions, that's when this team will continue to not just succeed, but excel.
Right. Okay, so one thing I hope that they've been working on, and I know they have since the Colorado game, are the penalties. When you take a look at what Illinois has been doing, their penalties, just in the last game against Central Michigan, they had 10 penalties called against them.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because one of our tremendous Chatterfields brings up a point about Illinois penalties. Michael Hassman says Illinois interior offensive line has struggled. There's no way they hold up without a lot of holding. Let's just hope some of them are finally called. So, and I think with the benefit of the fact that there's kind of a precedent set with how the Fighting Illini offensive line has been beaten, and how they've had to, play to preserve the life of their quarterback. Hopefully, the officiating crew knows to be like, hey, we probably need to look for some holds. That being said, it's a Big Ten game against Nebraska with a Big Ten original. It's one of the original. Illinois is an original Big Ten member, so I'm still not hedging my bets that Nebraska is going to get all those calls that they should.
Okay. Well, that is the thing that we definitely need to do, is just make sure, every game, it's just that those small improvements we've got to take against, cleaning up the penalties, and we definitely have. But Illinois, they create a lot of turnovers.
They do.
That's one thing I've seen in the last 3 games that they've played, is they force the ball over a lot.
They have some really good defensive backs who are very athletic and make some tremendous plays. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a test for Dylan. I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying it's too big for him. All we've seen is the young man excel.
Right. He's up for it.
Sure. I mean, of course, we're going to say that because we're just a little biased some more than others. Don't look like that. I'm not.
I don't think we are.
We're not just a little bit biased.
I mean, I'll tell you the truth. If somebody is good, I think I tell them they're good. But if there's a weakness, I think we need to exploit it, and that is their weakness. Is their penalties. They get a lot of penalties, but also guess what? They give up a lot of sacks. They let their quarterback get sacked a lot. And I'm going to show this stat, because that's why I think I had it up here to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
2024, Luke Altmaier has already gotten 5 sacks in 3 games, compared to Dylan Rhule has had 1.
Yeah. Well, that was that last week or Colorado?
That was the Colorado game.
Okay, that's what I thought. Sorry.
Yeah. He had the 1 interception last week.
Which, according to some people, wasn't even his fault.
Yeah.
Aaron Keene says, I stepped away for a minute. Is Minnie talking about sacks again?
Oh my gosh, Keene.
Well, from what we've learned, Dylan has 1 sack, but apparently Luke Altmaier has 5. So you feel real sorry for the co-eds in Champaign-Urbana.
Oh my gosh. That's horrible.
All right. Hassman says Altmaier has not been besieged as a quarterback this year. He's not thrown an interception yet, but I think he throws 1 or more Friday.
I agree. I think you're right. They haven't had the opponents that we have. And if I could bring up one other little stat, and that was the 24/7, you'll notice here, I mean, this will be the second top 20 quarterback that Nebraska's gone against in 4 games. So I don't think there's very many teams that have played, top quarterbacks like us.
I also think that it's a little ridiculous that number 6 is ahead of number 7. I mean, I know that's how numbers work, Fred, but I mean the individual listed at number 6 is ahead of the individual listed at number 7. That's wild to me.
They started Dylan off with a clean slate. No expectations. He's a freshman, right? And as I highlighted there at the bottom, it says Nebraska freshman Dylan Rhule moved up 2 spots to number 7 as he cements himself as the best freshman quarterback in college football. I
know you feel so justified right now, don't you? You're like, I've been saying this for 9 damn months.
We all should. But it wasn't just me. You guys like to give me a hard time, but you guys were on board. I know you were.
Minnie.
Oh my gosh.
You gonna read that comment? Come on, Minnie. Fine. Rostovsky says, remember, 5 sacks is all the sacks you need. We're a little early in the show for that one. See, Fred says, Minnie will never besmirch Dylan, but she gave Greg.
Oh my gosh. What the heck was that?
I had to bounce out of that.
Dang.
You know it's bad when I've got to jump out of that. Like, no, can't.
Okay.
I'm not saying it went too far, Fred, but it's borderline too far.
Yes. Oh. All right, Greg. Is it time for us to give our predictions for tomorrow night?
Yes, let us
talk about Illinois some more.
No, I want to here's what I want to do. I want to make sure, and if you could do me the honor of looking through the live comments and starring any, now would be a great time, everybody. That's true. BFOTS Josh Hansen says, someday Greg will learn to at least scan the whole comment before he throws them on the screen. That's true. But if now's a great time, if you're in the comments, if you want to throw in your prediction for tomorrow night's game, I'm going to go through some of these starred comments. We'll get to our predictions, and then we'll have what may be the most wholesome moment in 5 Heart podcast history.
And Greg, I just have to tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
How often do you think it is that a person guesses the score within 3 points?
Let me look at the notes.
No, don't look at the notes. I'm just asking.
To.
Okay.
Not that often.
It isn't that often. I've done it twice already this season.
Yeah, so a little recap. Nebraska won last week 34-3. Haas said Nebraska 48-12. Jake said Nebraska 45-14. You, Minnie, said Nebraska 45-7. And I said Nebraska 50.
I changed it.
Not on the show, you didn't.
I know.
Because I wrote it down here.
In writing on X.
No. I can't abide that. This is the official one. This is the only one that matters.
No. On Saturday morning, I changed it.
You have to tell me about these things so I can change it on the official log. Do you know how much time and effort I put into this for you to change things on a whim? No. No.
It wasn't on a whim. I told you. And honestly, giving my score prediction, I take very, very seriously.
I know.
And it's yeah.
All right. Are you going to make any changes this week, or the one that you give here in a few minutes will be the one?
I will let you know tomorrow if there needs to be a change.
Thank you, Melissa.
The game hadn't even started.
All right. I'm starring the predictions as we come. Let me get to the comments. False flag says Rhule may have a career night tomorrow. That
I love that.
I knew that would perk up Minnie's ears. Let's see. Kaylee Bartle says Minnie lights remind me of Corn Crazed.
Oh, maybe that's the person who gave me the suggestion. I don't know.
Maybe.
No, you know who it was? It was David Matney.
Oh, David Matney. Yes, good old David Matney. Yeah. Melissa says we didn't hear it, so it didn't count.
Oh my gosh. So in other words, if I change my mind, I'm going to pull a Greg, even though I don't have the ability to do this. Okay, I'm going to have to send you a video, and you'll have to post it on the YouTube page where I announce to everyone that I've changed my score prediction, so everyone can hear it.
Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure I get the rules down.
Keen says Greg can't just not change it on the docket and try to find a notary public on game day. Jeez. It's tough to find that game day notary. Come on now. Pit Snipe Husker says Minnie's lights remind me of an alley in Barcelona.
Ooh.
That's not quite the compliment you think it is. I just want you to know.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know if you've ever been to Barcelona.
No, I haven't been to Barcelona.
Barcelona. All right, back to some of these starred comments. By the way, I'm starring the predictions that are coming in because I know you're slacking.
I am. No, that's what I'm doing. I went all the way to the beginning. You asked me.
Oh, great. Oh, great. I just talked about the ones that came in after I asked for them. Keen says, talking about volleyball last night, and DR was present. There I said it, so now Minnie can't. Yes, Dylan Raiola was at the volleyball match last night. We already addressed this in Texas.
His sister played
she played
volleyball.
for TCU. Yeah, now she works for the athletic department.
He's a fan. He's a fan of volleyball.
And supporting the Huskers. Aaron Drury says Texas accent should be illegal in Nebraska. They ruined our old conference. We talked on that. That's a prediction. Drury also says, is Ramir Johnson basically a receiver and running back now? You know what? He is being utilized in all the capacities. I am just really happy. I've said this before. I'm just super happy for that young man, for the injuries that he's overcome, and he's really putting together a nice resume this season so far. Again, we're only 3 weeks in. It was actually, I was watching Matt Rhule's post-game presser last week, and one of the journalists was asking, maybe I think it was actually when Dylan was up there. He talked about, so you're 3 games into your freshman year, you're 20, essentially a quarter of the way through your freshman season. And I got thinking, like, damn, that's you think 3 games, but it's already going by quick. Like, after tomorrow, we're a third of the way through the regular season. That made me a little bit sad, Minnie.
Oh, yeah. That is the sad thing. We should actually probably do like 2 shows a week. Just so, honestly, during the season, because I feel like it just would go by so fast.
Okay. I'll try to work it into my schedule. Jimmy McNutty says, why does Greg love the Domers so much? Talk about Notre Dame. I don't. I have some ties to that. So my grandfather was a huge Notre Dame fan. Helps that, I'm Catholic, so I tell you that. But to this day, Rudy is my favorite movie of all time. I don't apologize for it. I'm a huge nerd, so you would think it'd be like Avengers or The Dark Knight or something like that. But there's something about Rudy that, and yes, it's an underdog story. There are plenty of underdog movies out there. Miracle's another one. Hell, The Mighty Ducks or Little Giants. But there's something about Rudy that if we ended the show now and I put that movie on my TV, despite the fact that I've yawned a couple times, I think you've noticed and heckled me for, I would watch that movie start to finish every time. And by the time that it's the climactic scene, that's the game against Georgia Tech, and yes, I know that it's based on a true story, but a lot of these things didn't really happen. Thanks, Joe Montana, for shitting on the movie. When they start chanting for Rudy, and when he gets out on the field, and when God dang it, I can't think of his name. The actor, John. Anyway, when he shots, he's like, he's so little. I'm like, that's, there's something magical about that movie. So, am I a Domers fan? No. Jerome Bettis, my favorite football player of all time, went to Notre Dame, but outside of that, it's just really Rudy. So I apologize. Melissa is getting in on the sack conversation. She said over an hour ago, almost an hour ago, bet Ty Robinson has 2 sacks.
She's the one that started this whole conversation, Melissa.
Yep. It's all Melissa's fault. Blame Melissa.
I knew it.
Andy says
Yep.
Sean Astin, yes.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. Andy Harris says Bert ran the score on us how many times? Hope Rhule is aware we owe him I've said it before. I don't care about what Bret Bielema did to us when he was at Wisconsin. Whether we win by 1 point or 50 points, a win is a win. I don't care about style points. If we have the game in hand like we had last week, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if we're able to get, again, our second and our third string guys in meaningful snaps, I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't need to run up the score on anybody.
Talking about this comment, do you watch any of the opposing teams like press conferences the week of just to see what they're saying about us?
Absolutely not. Let me tell you why. Don't give a shit.
Why?
Don't care. Don't care if it's UTEP, Colorado, Illinois, Ohio State. If this Nebraska team takes care of business and plays to its potential, it doesn't matter who the opposition is.
I agree to a certain extent. I just like to hear, for instance, this week, Matt Rhule let it slip out that there's a Big Ten coaches group chat.
I did see that. That was on Chasing 3, I think. Was it on a weekday presser? Okay.
Yeah. So things like fun. That, those little nuggets, I just love, and everybody loves them because they've been talking about it. Bret, he talked about how when he was at Wisconsin, he was.
It really is Bret. You know that, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, just make sure.
He was so pissed off that Nebraska got like all these accolades, and his team was winning, and we weren't. And he's like, "Why are they getting so much fanfare and all this?" And somebody said, "Well, that's what." And at the time, that's what 100 years of football and fans looks like. Meaning, we have the history here. And he was jealous of it. So he talked about that, and he talked about other things having to do with Nebraska. I loved hearing the stories. He's a great storyteller.
Yep.
Okay, Greg.
We could all learn a lesson in storytelling.
I listened to your Rudy story, so you just hang in there.
Right. I'm definitely hanging in there. Cornborn Mike says, can you imagine any other coach other than Matt Rhule coming to Lincoln to rebuild Nebraska? I truly think it's a match made in heaven.
I agree.
And
I often think that.
We, going back to 5 years prior, but when we hired Scott Frost and some of the other names that were being floating around, we have to, when you hit rock bottom, there's only one place to go type of thing. I kind of look at Nebraska football a couple of years ago, kind of hit rock bottom. So yeah, I mean, Matt Rhule is the great excavator to bring us out of the mire. And I don't know if we all necessarily had him like labeled as that, and maybe we didn't know how quickly or how good things were going to turn around for us. So great Cornborn Mike, man, that's a tremendous all right, let's see, that is prediction. Don't know that one.
And I just wanted to add to that comment real quick. It seems to me like, everything that has happened, you're talking about all that crap that went down a couple years ago. For some reason, it's just like Rhule said. Sometimes you have to go through those bad things to die to that old self so that you can be a new self. And I love that. I love thinking about that because Nebraska certainly has. We've gone through a lot. Tonight, I came across somebody who was a fan from 1968. Could you imagine being a fan of this program and like hanging in there like we do for so long and just watching it go like this, the highs, riding those highs and lows. I think it's
Yeah.
amazing.
And here's the thing, in sports and in life, you have to have the moments that we've had in the last few years to appreciate where this program is heading, to appreciate the 90s. Because I bet you, as a fan base, we probably started taking it for granted that we had championship caliber teams every year. It was the expectation. And so now we're working our way back. But we're working our way back, and I'm going to take that positivity and run with it. So,
my brother-in-law, and this may not seem like it's related, but just hang in there with me. He's a custom home builder. And
nice.
he said, I look back at what it took for me to get here. And I think, wow, if only I would have enjoyed that ride a little more, because it's that uphill battle that really teaches you all the lessons that you need to, get to where you're going.
BFOTS Josh Hansen says, to be fair, from 68 to 2000, there weren't a lot of downs. My mom always said we had to appreciate it because it had to swing the other way eventually. He says, I always thought she was just pessimistic. And Pitt says, it has to rain so we can appreciate the sun again. Gag me with a spoon. All right,
really?
let's I'm gonna try to rapid fire these.
I liked it better when I could call him by his real name.
Yeah,
it made me feel better to say Jason Reeves.
Tony says Illinois has given up a ton of rushing yards already. They were outrushed by both Kansas and Central Michigan. Caleb Tim says defense should not play man with the quarterback being dual threat. I think you're right. Maybe some cover two. I think you're gonna have to watch Altmaier, because dual threat quarterbacks. I mean, I don't know if I would consider Shedeur Sanders necessarily a dual threat quarterback. We definitely know that he just wanted to air the ball out and not take contact if he could avoid it. So Altmaier, we did okay in contain. I think we contained. We didn't break last week. But Altmaier again, he's big boy. He's FBS. So we'll see. I don't hate that take. Colt Bundy says, just like Friday Night Lights, clear eyes, full hearts can't lose, or should we say 5 hearts can't lose? Thank you, Colt. Let's see. Before we get to the predictions, and there's plenty of them here. BFOTS Josh Hansen says 5 sacks is too many sacks for having 0 balls. Thank you. Colt says, is it me or does Minnie remind anyone of the singer Paula Abdul? Just wondering.
I don't know.
Really?
What's her song from the 90s?
Didn't she have Straight Up Not Tell Me Do You Really Want to Love Me Forever? Or is it 2 steps forward, I take 3 steps back. We're come together because I just remember that video because it had the animated cat dancing.
Yep.
Yeah. So and then, by the way, Jason says no, Colt. She's more Mariah Carey.
Oh, I'll take that. There's a songbird. Thank you.
Don't please, Chatterfields. I'm begging you. I don't usually beg. Don't try to find my celebrity doppelganger. It'd be like, oh, Danny DeVito or something like that. Like, it's not going to be flattering. Like, nobody's gonna be like, Greg really reminds me of Ryan Reynolds. It's not going to happen. So let's just pass on that, please.
We'll find somebody.
Opposites attract. Straight up. See, I was right.
Yep.
Fred says, Colt Bundy, straight up, don't tell me Dylan won't love me forever. Melissa says, tonight this show is everywhere tonight. Thank you, Melissa.
Everywhere.
Here's the thing. We just want to cover all of our bases. We know that entertainment is like a buffet, so we have to have a little bit of everything for everybody. So All right, we're going to rip through these predictions. Everybody, hold your comments.
Okay.
Cornhusker Corner says 38.
Wait. Just to be clear, by everyone, you meant me.
No, I meant everybody. I don't want to have to look at more comments.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Red Sacco says Greg Celeb Doppelganger got berated in Full Metal Jacket. Yeah. Private Pile. The dad from Small Wonder. Gosh, that's a deep cut. You know what? 10 points to Gryffindor. I mean, Pitt Snipe Husker. All right. Oh, hold on. Can you read this one again, Minnie?
Which one?
The highlighted comment?
No, we're not talking about this anymore.
Sorry, Bret. It's a word. It's a medical condition. All right. We're starting with predictions that go all the way to the beginning of the show. Melissa says 31-12 Huskers. Tony says, I'm guessing this will be our fourth straight 3+ score victory. Official prediction, 38-13. Jimmy McNutty says Nebraska destroys over Illini or over Illinois, just like Bert destroys Old Country Buffet. Nebraska 44, Ghost of Dick Butkus 6.
Oh, I love that.
Rushy G. Oh, this isn't a prediction. Rushy G. I think everybody's on pretty positive note. He's asking how everyone's feeling tomorrow. Scale of 1 to 10. Everybody was 10+, so we're good. Vince Watson says 27-17 Huskers in a rock fight. Michael Hassman says 38-13 Nebraska. James Boardman says 21-13 Nebraska. Colt Bundy says Huskers 27, Illinois 20. JC says 42-7. I like that one a lot. Mr. Raji says Nebraska 31, Illinois 13. Tony says, I said 38-13 too. So apparently what we're doing is we're just highlighting all the ones. T-Bones says Big Red wins 35-16. Joe Laleka says Huskers 21-6 after 1, 35-9 at half, 38-9 after 3 with a 41-16 final. That is way too precise, and I hope you're right.
Wow.
I don't know. Did you? I would. Where everybody else? Were you watching Minnie's reaction? Mine was blown by the quarterly breakdown that was there. It was pretty impressive.
Well, it wasn't just the quarterly. I was like, I liked the first score for the end score.
Mm-hmm. Fred says Nebraska 24, Illinois 13, Bielema 14 runses, 9 slices of Valentinos, and 60 February Franks. He's a large man. I don't know if I said this last week, but they ran out of Valentinos in our section, so I didn't actually get a slice of Valentinos in Memorial Stadium. So just gonna have to go back sometime. No, wait, we saw that. Never. Inappropriate. No, I'm just kidding. Cornhusker Corner said 38-7 Huskers. BFOTS Josh Hansen says 35-17 Big Red. It's got to hit someday.
Can you go back to that one? Wait, can you go back to that last score?
No, I can't. Because I've already unstarted, so it's lost.
Shoot.
And it wasn't a score. It was in response to on the scale of 1 to 10. How excited are you for tomorrow? And he said 69. So.
No, Cornhusker Corner just said something to 7.
38-7.
I just wondered, was that it? Okay.
I don't know. Cornhusker Corners, throw it back up there so Minnie can see it. I got work to do here. 35-17 Big Red. Josh says got to hit someday. Colt Bundy again said 27-21 Nebraska. Over on X, Adam says this game will be determined by the black shirts. 21-10 Big Red. And Husker Chuck coming in at 31-13 Huskers. So.
All right. Seems like there's a lot of scores for Nebraska to be in the 30s and Illinois to be in the teens.
In the teens. Brasco Rascal, I'm sorry. Scott says 27-13. I had to go find that one on my own because nobody started for me. Thank you. All right, good job.
Jeez. This is like two, 3, 4 complaints about me starring things already.
All right.
Jeez.
Well, let's get to predictions for this week. So Jake, at the beginning of the season, said Nebraska would win 28-21. Haas said 31-21. Did not change that on our overreaction show. Minnie, what would you like to?
I say anything?
You just said win. I'm going to write in a score so that you can change it in about 12 hours.
Okay. In thinking about this, one thing I forgot to mention was that they will take every opportunity to score field goals. And that's pretty much how they would try and win a game. So, hear me out.
You're still here. Okay. I was doing the slow fade.
Okay.
Okay. Imagine not changing a score. There you go, Keen.
9, Illinois.
Oh, Christ.
And Nebraska. I know.
I was like, you can say 9-3? What the shit?
No. Nebraska 34. Okay.
Now,
I'm not changing it because I actually feel pretty confident that it's going to be somewhere within that range. I don't think they're going to make it to the teens.
Aaron Keene says this is a long road to a small house. So I gave my score prediction on the overreaction show, and Haas pointed out that this is a popular prediction by one of our very own.
Is it 38-17? Is that it?
Close. I said Nebraska 35-17. So BFOTS Josh Hansen, if this hits, buddy, you're welcome. All right. I've written that down. It's in pen.
Okay.
I don't think we can get her to say this, Fred.
Here's what I will say. Okay. This is in the Chasing 3.
The comment.
Today is victory over yourself of yesterday.
The comment.
Tomorrow is your victory over lesser men. And Rhule went on to explain that, meaning today you go against yourself in practice, and tomorrow, because you're the bigger opponent, and tomorrow you can deal with that lesser person. Illinois.
Aaron Keene will give you extra credit and a $2 super chat if you can say who Miyamoto Musashi is, or if you know who Miyamoto Musashi is.
Somebody from the 5 Rings.
What's the
Is that right?
5 Rings?
It's a book.
Miyamoto Musashi was a swordsman, strategist, artist, and writer who became renowned through stories of his unique double-bladed swordsmanship and the undefeated record of its loading. Undefeated record in his 62 duels. So he was born, it's believed he was born in 1584 and died on the 13th of June, 1645 in Japan. So,
yeah.
Probably just did some serious cultural appropriation there, and I apologize. Had a boy, Aaron Keene, coming through. I put him up to that, and he followed through. You're the man.
What the heck? Well, thank you. Gosh, I feel like I should be doing lunges, but I won't.
No, I'm not going to say it. I'll tell you off air.
Minnie, I dare you to close your eyes and recount your score prediction. Really? Why?
Because I think he's trying to say you may not be able to remember it.
Okay. Here's I can actually go through my way of thinking, and you guys don't want to hear it again, so I'm gonna just say it like this.
Just say the score.
They're gonna score. Okay,
Just put Nebraska score, Illinois score.
34, 34, 9. 34, 9.
Okay.
Is that right, Greg?
Yep.
There you go.
All right. Well done. Thank you, Aaron. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Aaron.
So Josh says, so basically today we bust our ass, our bust hour, so tomorrow we can kick yours.
Yeah, and so here's the reason why I also think that Rhule actually put this up there. Oh gosh. What?
Josh says that's too many duels. I bet he was a dickhead.
Oh my gosh.
62 duels does seem like a lot. Like I feel like at some point you're asking for it.
Anyways, Rhule said to Tristan Alvano, you're letting the snap get in your head. And he said that's why he missed that one field goal attempt 2 games ago. It must have been against Colorado. So, and remember, then we had the snapper competition. And we did get a new snapper. And it was Fledgy. And Rhule put this quote up. And I have a theory on this. I think Rhule was helping Tristan Alvano get over his hiccups by saying, it's not your kicking, it's the snap. Because now he has no problem. What do you think?
I think it's a quote that doesn't just apply to Tristan Alvano, but applies to not just everybody on the team, but everybody in life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you master today, if you, in a way, it harkens back to the Husker prayer. Day by day, we get better and better until we can't be beat, won't be beat. This just is very flowery, feudal Japan language. Now, I'm not mad at it. Rostowski says, so many trips over everyone's names except the third string long snapper. So,
yes.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to end the show. We've got our predictions. Usually that's the end of the show. But I had an idea a few days ago. I said, you know what? I'm gonna bring this onto the show, and we're going to make this the most wholesome 5-heart moment ever. When I was in Lincoln just a couple of weeks ago, meeting a lot of you wonderful people, I was there with BFOTS Josh Hansen. Again, thank you, Josh. Minnie got to meet you, of course, and what y'all don't know is the heart of this woman right over here. We talked about, if y'all don't remember, for my birthday, she, sent this book to me. And when we met up in Lincoln, she had a bag of stuff for my family, including this book, Good Night, Nebraska, that my twins want me to read to them every night.
Aww.
And so what we're going to do now, in the most wholesome 5-heart moment of all time, is I'm going to read Good Night, Nebraska to all of you.
Oh, great.
And I'm going to do it.
Again.
I'm going to do it in a way that I would read it to them. Now, I don't expect you to. They react in certain parts. Like, they've heard it every night this week, so they're saying the words with me when I'm asking them a question. Like, yeah. So I don't expect you all to respond as cute as my boys, but here we go. Aaron Keene says, Chatterfields prefer everybody poops. I'm pretty sure the Chatterfields prefer go the fuck to sleep. So, all right. I'm not going to read it like Jimmy Durante. I'm going to read it like I'm reading it to my boys. Good night, Nebraska. Good morning, farm. Good morning, cows and rooster. Are we ready to share a wonderful day? Hello, Omaha. Hello, children enjoying the Gene Lehigh Mall. probably not pronouncing that right. Happy spring flowers bursting with color at Lauritsen Gardens. I don't have a Kent Pavelka voice. Animals and fish are everywhere at the Henry Dorley Zoo and Aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to discover new things at the Omaha Children's Museum. Hold on tight as we blast into orbit at the Strategic Air Command and Aerospace Museum. Good afternoon, beachgoers playing in the sand at Lake McConaughey. Good afternoon, Chimney Rock. It's nice to see everyone at the Nebraska State Fair. Do you like cotton candy and snow cones? This is where my 3-year-olds say in unison, I do. You know, they get so excited. Greetings, ashfall fossil beds and scientists. Zoom, zoom. Check out all the race cars at the Museum of American Speed. Little Matthew, he's 3. He says speed with me. He's got that word memorized.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, horse and carriage touring the old market. Good evening, Nebraska Cornhuskers. Score a touchdown. And they say, score a touchdown with me. Good evening, campers enjoying Nebraska's beautiful forests. Good night, ice fishermen. Good night, big elk. Good night, moon and twinkling stars. Good night, children of Nebraska. Thank you for sharing a wonderful day. The end. And then they put the book on the shelf, and then we do a few prayers and play a couple songs, and out I go. So.
My gosh, that is so special. Thank you for sharing, Greg.
I knew you'd appreciate that.
I love that.
Rostovsky says that is a long day if you're going from Henry Dorley to Chimney Rock and back to Lincoln. James Borman says, what? No car hinge? Great. great cut. So anyway, Minnie, thank you for the generosity to the family. You know, the boys appreciate that. Pitt Snipe Husker says, great book, Greg, and Minnie, 48 points, plus 48 to you both. So.
Oh, very nice. That's so nice. Greg, you are the best.
No,
what a fantastic father. I mean, I can just imagine your boys having you read that to them. That's so sweet that you shared that with us. So thank you.
Fred says, very wholesome, Greg. Minnie wants you to read it to Dylan nightly. I'll tuck him in. I'll give him pinch your little cheeks. All right, let's put your designer sunglasses over on the nightstand.
I love it.
So,
I love it.
Yay. I think that'll do it. I think we've had a tremendous amount of fun tonight. Thank you, Minnie, for all the work that you do behind the scenes, getting the stream up and going. And now that you have the logo to the show, we'll actually get it on the image next week and moving forward.
Yes, we will.
Awesome.
Okay.
BFOTS, Josh Hansen says, that was cool. I bet the sequel talks about the Chatterfields. Oh, a children's book about you all.
That would be interesting.
We've got a lot of 5 is all you need. 5 tucks tucking in. 5 tucks is all you need. We've had 5 sacks tonight, so
totally different.
Weird night. But anyway, that'll do it for this episode of the 5 Heart Podcast. Hey, thank you all sincerely for joining us, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, or X. The numbers tell us that the majority of you are over on X. So if half of you came over to YouTube, that'd be tremendous. But if you want to keep watching on X, feel free. Join in the conversation however X allows you. All right. For my co-host and my friend, Minnie Hunt, I'm Greg Mahochko. This is the 5 Heart Podcast, and we remind you each and every week that 5 Heart is all the heart you need. Minnie?
Go Big Red.
Oh, I see you did that on the quiet side because, it's bedtime.
It's bedtime. You just read us a bedtime story.
All right, well, that's going to be really awkward because this music's kind of loud.